Hey, this is Javen. I want you to get excited about this week's podcast. There's going to be a special word just for you to help you and challenge you in what you're going through. Get ready. It's time for you to start living your best life now, and it starts right now. Hey, folks, I'm so glad y'all are joining us for this week's podcast. Do it now. Why wait when your best is now? That's not the name of our podcast. That's the name of the book. That's the name of my latest book, by the way. Let me do a shameless plug right here. If you have not gotten the bestseller, thank you so much, those of you that have supported and participated. Yes. Thank you. A good stocking stuffer, by the way. Stop by and pick up your copy, autograph it for you, or shoot us an email. And or you can get it on Amazon, wherever books are sold, Target, Walmart. Great book. Been getting some rave reviews about it. Talking about do it now. Why wait when your best is now? That being said, the podcast is called Do It Now. So welcome today. We want to talk to you about all things Christmas. Happy holidays to you. Merry Christmas to you and your family. I pray that you're having a great time. I wanted to just come on and just talk with you. And I want you to know that you can always email me, booking@javenonline.com. If you have questions or comments, just let us know. Leave a comment or shoot us a DM or whatever the case may be. We'll do our best to try to respond as expeditiously as possible. I don't even know if I said that word correctly or not. But anyways, we want you to know we're here for you to answer your questions as best we can. Let's talk about this Christmas thing. First off, Merry Christmas to you and to your family. I pray that this weekend, seriously, that you are really with the people you love and at least with the people that you like. And people that like you, and that you have, joy, because I'm noticing right now that a lot of people are experiencing, not joy, man. A lot of people are experiencing a heavy time, a difficult time. What should be a joyous time is becoming a very rough time and a tough time for a lot of people. And I kind of want to talk about that a little bit today. Those of you that were familiar with the choreographer and the co-host at one point with the Ellen DeGeneres show, he went by the name of Twitch. A young man, about 40 years old, beautiful family, wife, about 2 kids or 3 kids, I believe it is. You know, all of what the world calls success. I would say Twitch would have definitely been. I think if you looked at Twitch life, you would definitely say he was successful. He checked off all the marks, always happy. Every time you looked at his Instagram posts and stuff, he was dancing, huge smile, beautiful children, by the way, awesome kids, seemed like a great dad, awesome father, awesome husband to his wife. They seemed very much in love and intact. And then his career was for a dancer and for a creator, what bigger level could you get than an Emmy award-winning show like Ellen DeGeneres show, along with being a judge on So You Think You Can Dance. So he seemed to have checked off all the boxes when it comes to success. And then unfortunately, it was very, very sad for us all that knew him or experienced his gift. And when you have people like that, you do feel like you know them, or you feel like that you have a personal relationship with that person. And that's how sometimes effective a good person is. That's how effective a great entertainer is. They're so good at what they do. Us, the audience, feel like we know them. We feel like it's personal. You feel like that person is a family member, so to speak. I kind of felt that way when we learned about Whitney Houston. I can tell you where I was when I heard that Whitney Houston had passed away. Of course, those of you that are old enough, I remember getting the call about Michael Jackson. I remember I was living in Sherman Oaks, California, and down there in my living room, and we were getting information late. I don't know why that is, but for some reason, East Coast was getting information. They would they would hear about stuff quicker than you do on the West Coast. I guess the news goes out. Of course, we know that their time is ahead of us. But I guess back then you didn't really have Twitter wasn't that much of a news place to go to, and some of the Instagram I don't even think was around at that time. But it was interesting. You know, my brothers and sisters would call and say, he's already gone. He's already gone. I'm saying, no, he's not gone. CNN is not reporting him gone yet. You know, in California. I was like, nah, Jay, he's gone. And it was just so devastating, so heartbreaking. And then to just get this news about Twitch, you know, again, another young brother, you know, vibrant. And like I said, you know, feel like a part of the family. And to hear that he had allegedly taken his life, you know, it just makes you, it made all of us pause. It made all of us assess. I started getting calls from friends and people I hadn't heard from in a long time, you know, checking on me. And I felt the need to check on some people, you know, to just make sure that we're not missing any signs, that we're not getting something wrong, that we're not assuming people are okay that are not okay, that we're not taking somebody's success for happiness and taking somebody's happiness for joy. But the reality is, you know, you really don't know what people are really going through. I don't care how well you know them and how much time you spent with them. From my understanding, the wife said she had no clue that he went out to, said he was going to do something or whatever. And at some point she began to call the authorities to go look for him. They couldn't find him. And that's how it is sometimes. Sometimes we are in a room and we are full with people and we feel all alone. Sometimes we go through life in situations that, let's face it, talking about it just seems to be a waste of time, because the people that are around you, either number one, don't care, number two, happy that you're going through it, number three, can't do nothing about it no way. So we end up bottling a lot of stuff up within ourselves. And that's really, really a tough thing to go through. And I just want to encourage you first and foremost that there is somebody somewhere that will understand what you're going through, and that you don't have to walk through this holiday season alone. And I believe that if you will first give love a try, and really identify the people that love you. And trust me when I tell you, there are people in your life, whether it's at the church, whether it's your pastor, whether it's a friend, whether it's a family member, there's somebody in your life, I promise you, that if you will open up, and you don't have to tell them all the details, you don't have to tell them all your business, because I know how it is. You don't want to tell people, you know, all your stuff so they can turn around and use it against you and all that kind of stuff. But you got to talk to somebody. Be willing to open up and just share. I really like what we do here at the at Now Church. You know, one of the things we do is we do what we call ministry groups. You got the life groups, and then you got ministry groups. Ministry groups are for a segment of people. So they have one for the men. As a matter of fact, after I get through this podcast, I'm going to go do one with our man cave tonight. And then there's they have the women. The women have the XL group, and then they have a girls talk or something like that. And then I lead one called our Impact, Young Adult Impact Night, and that's the young adults. And I can tell you, we get in a huge circle, and people are able to share. You know, one of the things we do after we do a little bit of a teaching and encouragement, we do something called Update. And everybody has to go around the room and give us an update on, you know, what life has been like since the last time we saw them. And it's always interesting that when they begin to share, you know, their updates, you find out that people are going through, and sometimes just pure hell. You know, folks will tell you about, you know, moments of great depression. Folks will talk about, you know, having dealt with, one girl said, I closed the chapter on my series of back and forth with my boyfriend. She said, this was the final season. I'm not going back. And that was a huge step for her to finally say, I got to get out of this terrible abusive relationship. Another lady talked about how that she had was so angry and wanted distance from her parents and from her family, didn't want nothing to do with her family anymore. She was just angry. Said, I'd never not been angry. I've never not been mad. I've never not wanted to fight somebody, and had an experience and an encounter with God and one of our services and found peace for the very first time. And the list goes on and on and on, man. It just makes you so sensitive to the fact that people are hurting, and that people are are challenged with their own thoughts. You know, before we can even deal with the world, in our own world, our own psychological world, there is such a warfare going on. There's such a battle for happiness. There's a battle for that calmness. There's a battle for, am I good enough? Did I do all the right things? Am I hitting the right marks? And I think all of these thoughts are very natural thoughts, and I think all of us have them if we will be honest. I just think the difference is we should not let these thoughts bring judgment or condemnation on us. I think that's where we get in trouble. I think you can have a thought, but you can't let your thought have you. I think you can critique, if you will, or go through some things and say, hey, am I checking off the mark here or there? But that should not be a source of, am I getting it right or getting it wrong? It should just be a source of, where am I? What's going on in my life in this current season, and what do I want to add to this life? What do I want to take away? What do I want to multiply? I really believe that every season of your life, you have an opportunity to multiply your life. I don't think it's about adding and subtraction, which is what I think a lot of us do. A lot of times we'll gain a new friend and we'll cut off another person. We'll gain a new job and we'll forget about all the things, training that we learned at the old job, or we'll gain a new opportunity for ministry or a career or whatever, and then we burn bridges off the one we had, and when it's all said and done, we end up with just one thing, or we end up with just the one situation, and when that fails us, then we end up with nothing, when we could have had multiple opportunities of friendships, multiple opportunities of relationships, multiple opportunities of career chances, and the list goes on and on. So let's first change the way we think this holiday season. Let's first remember that the opportunity to have a relationship with God, and because of the babe Jesus, that it's an opportunity for us to have multiplication in our life, that we don't have to be one-dimensional, that we have an opportunity to have joy, peace, love, and all types of sound minds in every situation and every circumstance, that we literally have the ability to be strong when we're weak. And how is that possible? Well, it's called trusting in God. I think when you get to, let me say it this way. Grace is when you get to the end of you and God begins. God starts where you stop. God's grace starts where you don't have enough strength to muscle up another idea to go on. But then what happens is you then say something like what Jesus prayed in the garden, not my will, but your will be done. And you just got out of the way. And I'm serious. It's just that simple. It ain't that deep. I'll be honest with you. I don't think it's that deep. I think you literally just stop and just say, God, I can't do it. I need you to do it. I can't tell you how many times I've prayed that, spoke that, taught that, wrote songs about that, preached that. Because I really think that at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. It's about realizing that this thing is a lot bigger than you and you can't handle it. One of the things I talk about in my book, Do It Now, Why Wait When Your Best Is Now, is that control can be and is an illusion, that we're never really in control. And the idea of trying to be in control is the most, you want to talk about stress. I think stress comes when we try to control uncontrollable situations. I think stress comes when we try to dominate things that cannot be dominated by our own strength. Neither does it have to be. I think many times the answer lies in us taking a beat, breathe in, breathe out, and then say, what is the next step? And for somebody, that next step may be to sit down. That next step may be to not say nothing at all. That next step may be not to step. Or that next step may be to run. I recently got challenged with some business decisions I had to make for our company and for our business. And, I did just what I just told you. I took a beat. I prayed. I assessed the situation. one of the things I did, and I always do, is I always seek wise counsel. You know, I think the older you get, the way you know you're really walking in wisdom is when you start saying, I don't know nothing. It's the best. It's the best place to. That's how you know you've made it. When you stop walking around here with your pious tunnel vision, thinking you got all the answers, thinking you know how to deal with everything just because you've been around the playground a couple of times. Man, when you start asking questions and seeking counsel, because, I mean, what is it going to hurt to get another person's opinion along with yours? It's not that you don't have an opinion. It's not that you can't make a judgment call, but how much greater would it be to be able to assess what somebody else may see? Because all of us have blind spots. All of us have things that we don't see or can't see. But if you speak to the right people that have that wisdom and that knowledge in some of those areas, that's going to allow for you to be able to make a more balanced decision and choice about what you're going through. And that's why I was so excited that, you know, there was no shame to be able to pick up the phone and say, hey, man, I'm going through this right now. Well, how do you think, you know, we should handle this? Or how should I go through this situation? And after having a time of prayer and then counseling and talking with different colleagues of mine who are seasoned and, leaders that have been proven in my life and proven in life, period, to be very consistent in their pattern of success, I then made a decision. And I found out that next step was to run. That next step was not to slow down. That next step was not to quit. That next step was not to take a break. But that next step was to pick up the pace and be more, if not greater aggressive in moving forward and making that next choice or that next step. And so I think during this holiday season, for some of you, it might be a time to get up. You know, that I one of the things I was trying to do, let me tell you why I was, let me find some, yeah, let me tell you why I was frustrated recently, while I was sitting here going through my struggles, if you will. I was trying to take a break. Come on, somebody knows what I'm, come on, give me, listen. Pastor needs a break. Everybody needs I needed that applause. That was like, that felt good. That gave me some endorphins. Wouldn't that be great every now and then? Just to walk in the house and just have that. Would it be great to, like, when you the first day when you wake up in the morning, the first day you just hit a button and I mean, hair nappy, breath smells, but you got a big old applause. All right. Anyways, I don't forgot my point. That was really good. No, I got frustrated recently. I'm not gonna lie. Sitting there doing all this preaching to y'all, man. We be going through. Hey, yo, I was going through recently because I was trying to take a break this holiday season. Like in my head, it was like, let's slow down. I need a week. I need 2 weeks to just, woosah, a cruise, a vacation, just something. And, I would turn a corner and we would have something we do here, a big thing we do here called the holiday soiree. And then, we turn another corner and the kids ministry wanted to do a production. And then you turn another corner and, then the adults, I was going to do a quick little narration about the Christmas story. And then the team came together and said, why don't we do a whole production with it? And I'm like, man, I'm not trying to do no, and then you turn another corner and we have to do these podcasts. This we have to keep up with this schedule. And then there's some other things I'm working on that I can't tell you about yet, but be on the lookout. Some good stuff is coming. Well, that ain't what I want. Yeah, there you go. Some good stuff is coming. I'll keep you posted on what I'm working on. Another show. But anyways, the bottom line is there was no rest. There was no rest to be found. There was no break, I should say. Not rest, but there was no break. And I kept trying to get this break, and this break was not coming. And because this break wasn't coming, and I wanted it to come, and it wasn't coming when I was wanted it to come, I started getting frustrated with me. I started getting frustrated with my destiny. I started getting frustrated with this is the life I built. So it's not like somebody's making me do this. This was the life that I've accepted. This was the yes that I have given to God. You know, we're on a teaching series, The Power of Yes, and next year is the year of the yes for Now Church. And we're talking about what it means to get open. You know, it's like whatever God you want us to do, our response is yes. And on the other side of that yes is the supernatural. On the other side of that yes are the blessings. On the other side of that yes is mind-blowing journeys and levels that we are embarking upon and that we're getting ready to take. So I gave God my yes. And when you give God your yes, this is what you get in return. So when I had a moment of delusion, if you will, when I had a moment of delusion and thought I needed to take a break and couldn't, it created negativity. It created stress. It created frustration. And it was almost like I had a thought where, you know, maybe this is not the time that I thought it was. Like who decided that December, you know, the week of December, the 24th, 23rd, 20th, and 19th, and all those times, you know, before and around the 25th, which is the holiday of Christmas, that you're supposed to have all this nostalgia, that you're supposed to have all this, you know, traditionalism, and that you're supposed to have all these, you know, matching pajamas and tree and eggnog and all that stuff. I mean, it's great if we can. It's awesome if we can produce some of that. And of course, we'll do some of that this weekend with the family and all. But you know, the idea that has to be completely exactly that way on this particular day and in this fashion and everything has to stop, this, that, and the other. Sometimes life, some years are not like, some years you do have that. Let's be honest. Some years it does go that way and you are able to take that big pause and, you know, take a couple of weeks off or a couple of days off and whatnot. But some years it's just not like that because life never happens the same way twice. You never get the same day twice. Never. You don't ever get the same moment twice. It could feel like the same moment. It could feel like you know, it's some similarities, but you can only have that moment one time. That's how ridiculously precious your now is. And when I was able to accept that revelation and when I was able to let it go and really release the idea that, you know, just straight up, I was not going to get the rest. that I wasn't going to get that. Wait, where is it? This one. When I just let go of the fact that I just wasn't going to get the rest that not the rest. I need to stop saying rest. So I don't want y'all emailing me going, Pat, you need to get some rest. All right, I'm not talking about rest. Break. That when I let go of the ideology that I wasn't going to get the break, listen, in the time and in the moment that I thought I wanted to have it or needed it, that was when I was able to take, listen to me, a break. Yo, sometimes life is just about leaning into what it is. So when I released the idea of having to take a break, it gave me a break. It did. I was already resting. I mean, every night I was going to bed, I was resting, but it was almost like, okay, this is not going to be the season where, you know, this is not going to be the time where I'm going to be able to take a week off or 2 weeks off. Okay, I got a meeting here, I got a Zoom meeting here. We got to, you know, organize this. And I just embraced that. And when I embraced that, it just seems like the weight of that just left. And I just was able to kind of get through each day. And I feel okay. I feel at peace. I feel the joy of Christmas. I really do, because I know that I'm doing exactly what I'm supposed to be doing, and that I'm with the people that I'm exactly supposed to be with. And I want you to think that, and I want you to know that this holiday season. I want you to know that you're exactly where you're supposed to be. And you might be completely by yourself in a whole nother country, miles and miles away from your family. But I want you to know this is exactly where you're supposed to. This particular Christmas is going to be a memorable Christmas because it's going to be so unique. That's for somebody. It's going to be so unique for you in that way that it's going to be, you're never going to forget it. You're never going to forget it, and it's going to impact you in such a way that it's going to challenge you to change. And I believe that that's the message of Christmas. It's the love of God that brings about the change. It's the gift of God wrapped in the baby of Jesus, in the body of Jesus, the babe Jesus, that creates and brings all this change to us. And what is that change for? That change is for us to love. That change is for us to endure. That change is for us to live under the umbrella of grace, which gives us favor, empowerment, and that gives us strength. And I want you to know this Christmas season that that's what you have. And that's the gift I give to you, that you would give Jesus a try, that you would keep God close to your heart, and that you will know that no matter what you're ever facing in life, you're never alone. So don't ever allow yourself to feel lonely. You should never. Loneliness and being alone is two different things. Some of the best times is going to be when you're alone. And ask a mother that got 3 kids or 4 kids and she's finally able to put them to bed. Trust me, that lady loves being alone if she can get that moment. Ask a president that's a sitting president or a CEO. Ask a pastor on a Monday if, he needs to go back into the pulpit on that Monday, or does he need to take at least 12 to 5 hours of being alone or being away and not having to pray or talk or counsel or give direction or guidance in those moments. Being alone is not a bad thing. Being alone is not a negative thing, and it has nothing to do with loneliness. And I want to clear that up. There are people that are married that are lonely. There are people that are in constantly with groups of people and in a crowd that are lonely. I grew up in a family of 15 people. I'm 12 out of 13 children. And there are many days that I felt lonely. But if you ask any one of my brothers and sisters, they'll tell you the same thing. They felt, and it wasn't that the house wasn't full of love. It was ridiculously filled. It was more than enough love. Our parents were incredible parents. You couldn't ask for two more incredible people. And you can't ask for a better group of siblings. We're just so ridiculously close. It's almost scary. So clearly that's not the issue. It's just that in life, sometimes you can feel like you're all by yourself because you have your own individual thoughts. You have your own individual way of doing things. You have your own dreams. You have your own timelines that you have in your head sometimes, that you're wanting to get certain things done. And when that doesn't happen, it could sometimes feel like you're disconnected from the people around you. But I just want to encourage you today to know that God is on your side, that Jesus is still the reason for the season, as cliche-ish as that may sound. It is really true. And I want you to know this, and I feel the need to talk about this for a couple of seconds before we wrap and close. Some of your biggest gifts and breakthroughs are not going to come from the people and the systems that you think. I want you to know that I've gotten love and support from some of the most unlikely people, from people that you would never think could produce that type of love, that type of support. I must tell you that some of my most dearest friends are not friends from the church and not people that are in the religious community, unfortunately. I would love to say that that was the case, but the reality is I have a lot of great friends in the religious community. But I must tell you, some of my genuine friends are not necessarily believers, but they are just people that have learned how to be there for somebody else. And I want to say to you, if unbelievers have figured that out, how much more those of us that have the love of God in us should figure that out. That sometimes we just have to be there for somebody. Maybe this Christmas season is just about you being there for somebody. Pastor, I have nothing to offer. Jabin, I got nothing to give. Maybe you don't have to give anything. You just have to be something. I've been that for many people, and many times when I've walked away and said, I didn't even say nothing. I didn't even help. And people will call and say, thank you. Thank you. And I'm still sitting there scratching my head going, what did I do? Only to find out later that it was just my being there. Them just knowing that somebody is thinking about them. Maybe that's your gift today. Maybe that's the gift to you, and that's the gift to others through you, to be there for someone. And you may not be able to physically be there, but being there for somebody is sending a text saying, I'm thinking about you. Being there for somebody is taking a little card. They don't cost that much money now, $1 or whatever, and you just sign it and just say, Merry Christmas, thinking about you. Being there for somebody is picking the phone up and letting them know, DMing somebody. Not asking for stuff like a lot of y'all do. Stop asking for. I hate when people do it. By the way, don't do that to anybody. Don't ever do it. Don't say, I got a new book out. How can I get my book? Or I got a new, how can I? That's the worst thing you could do, man. Just be who you are and we'll find you. Have an authentic connection with folks, and I promise you that connection will open doors for you. But when you go running down people and asking for, a handout and all that, that ain't the way to go. You don't want nobody to do that to you. So trust me, don't do that to us and other people of influence. It just never goes well. Trust me, because that's not what you want to do this Christmas season. This Christmas season, you want to give love, you want to show love, and you want to be loved. I love you. Merry Christmas. That's my time, y'all. Be blessed. Hey, folks, thank you for joining our Do It Now podcast. I hope what was said today helped you, challenged you, and caused you to live your best life right now. Do me a huge favor. If you enjoyed today's podcast, I want you to share and like and subscribe to our channel. We want to share this message of now with every and anybody we can possibly get it to, and you can help us do that. Would you do it for me? And don't forget to live your best life now. We'll see you next time.